websites from Shelby County to ensure you got the latest information on your area. That is my opening statement. If anybody has questions, I'll answer them now.
What part up and down the river, what section, what city is in danger of the most serious flooding?
Well, sir, it started up in Cairo, Illinois, right, and we've worked our way down through Crothersville and Tiptonville, Tennessee. The crest right now is somewhere between Crothersville and Memphis. And I would tell you at this point in time, the most high-risk population would be Memphis. And that would be because of, like I said, for those areas that are highly populated and in an unprotected place, and are close to or in low-lying areas of the Wolf River, of Nonconnah Creek, and of the Lochahatchee. So those right now are our focus in terms of our highest risk places. Any other questions? I'm sorry?
I'm sorry, could you quantify the 600% you were saying in rain? Is that this year or for the last year? Or?
That was in a period of 2 weeks on an average rainfall. So for 2 weeks, I said we've been at this for almost 20 days. For 2 weeks ago, we received over 600% of the rainfall that you normally receive in that 2 week period.
In which area? What's the breadth of the location?
Yeah, that main area was basically Arkansas all the way up through to Kentucky into the Ohio Basin. So this water that we're seeing going by, and oh, by the way, this water is moving about 2 million cubic feet per second right now. Just to give you to use an analogy, in 1 second, that water that's going in front of us right now or behind us right now would fill up a football field 44 feet deep in 1 second. That water is coming through the Mississippi and the Ohio basins. So all the rain that hit over the last 2 weeks in Missouri, in Illinois, in Kentucky, and all the other states that border the Ohio River, that water is running past us as we speak.
That's on top of an unusually wet spring to begin with, is it not?
That's correct, sir. We were in a flood fight, if you recall, in late March. We had a flood fight initially up in the upper portions of our district, and that just rolled into this one. And so we have an unusually high water table in most of our areas, which is now causing a lot of pressure on the system.
What will be the immediate steps after the river crest?
What are our steps after the river crests? Basically, our steps right now is a flood fight, and that's what our main focus is. As I said, I got 150 people out walking levees right now, looking at pump stations, providing any technical assistance we can. Our next phase, as I would call phase 4, is our assessment phase. And we're doing that simultaneously. So the folks out looking at levees right now are collecting data, analyzing their performance, and so that we can provide that to our superiors, and then they can help us develop a plan to refit our levees, for lack of a better term.
Isn't the river we're looking at right now different than 1937 because of work y'all done?
Yes, ma'am. It's considerably different. In 1937, this river was basically, or actually, I'm sorry, in 1937, these levees were nowhere near the height they are today. Our levees are typically 2 to 3 feet above the project design flood, and that flood design was based on the 37 flood. And so our levees are considerably higher. They're very strong. Our flood walls are very good. So what I would tell you is, I think back in 1937, over 500 people lost their lives. I think it was like almost 20 million acres were flooded. I could show you the maps. Today, we've managed to contain the Wicked River to the most part. And what you're seeing now is the most of the flood that's occurring, or flooding that's occurring, is causing here in Memphis, is being caused by those streams not being able to drain into the Mississippi because of the historic heights.
What's the level of the river today?
Today it's at 47.6. We expect it to crest, I think, on Tuesday or Wednesday at a roughly around 48.
So the rate of increase, or it's rising slower than it was before.
And it's going to go down slow. And so I think the thing that everybody needs to understand is that it'll come up, it's going to go up 48, and then we're going to see this level for approximately 10 days to 2 weeks of this river slowly declining. And you will not really see any relief on the back channels, the Wolf River, the Luchahatchee, Nankana, until the river starts going below 47 feet on the Memphis gauge. So, and we don't see that happening for about 10 days to 2 weeks. So you can see how long this water will be sitting on these creeks in some of the lower lying areas in Memphis and in Shelby County.
What's your biggest concern or fear over the next 48 hours before we get to that crest?
Well, I think my biggest concern is making sure that we get the message out. That we get the message out to the people who are living in the unprotected areas, and make sure they're informed so they can make an informed decision about whether to stay or leave. And I think I would go back to they need to listen to their state and local and community officials. They need to keep in touch on watching your all's channels, as well as keeping on the websites and checking the latest data.
Is that why you felt like the need to hold a press conference today?
It is, because I think it's very important that we get the message out. And the couple key points is the levees are performing as designed. We're at historic levels on the Mississippi River, and 3 people need to stay vigilant and be situationally aware of the situation so that they can make an informed decision.
Was blowing the levees up north, was that the right call? I'm looking at it now, what you accomplished with it?
Yes, ma'am. I was personally the district commander that was responsible for executing the Birds Point New Madrid floodway. And as of today, that project is operating as designed. We're seeing approximately 400,000 cubic feet per second coming into the floodway, and about 300 to 350,000 cubic feet coming out of it. What that did was it lowered the pressure and the level at Cairo, Illinois, almost 3.5 feet. And if you look at the, and I could show you charts, when we executed the floodway, it was going at 61.3 and steadily going in a straight upward spiral. When we executed the floodway, it immediately dropped, and now we're almost at 3.5 feet lower than what we had projected in the past.
Are preparations being made as if the water's going to go above 48 feet?
Yes, sir. And I mean, I'm going to defer that to Shelby County, but they are taking all necessary protection measures to ensure that if it were to go above 48, which we don't believe it will, that they have all the proper protection procedures or procedures in place.
How high does the river level have to get before it begins breaching levee systems in this area?
We got 9 to 12 feet of freeboard on the far side. We're on a bluff up here, so the fear of downtown flooding other than at Beale Street is minimal.
Yeah, so I mean, for the people that live in West Memphis, currently the levee system over there has 9 to 10 feet of freeboard. We don't see the river even getting close to that. And Memphis pretty much lives on a bluff. So like the message that continues to come out is that Nankana, Wolf Creek, and Luchahatchee are going to back up until the river drops below 47 feet on the Memphis gauge. And I think another key point is that right now the 5-day forecast only has about 3/4 of an inch of rain over the basin average. So that's good news.
Sir, can I ask you about the efficacy of the flood wall? Have the flood walls in Memphis seen this river level before? And do you have people checking the flood walls to make sure that they're working?
The flood walls were designed based on the project design flood. And I am comfortable that the flood walls are going to perform as designed. I stood in Cairo, Illinois not more than 7 days ago when the water was at 61.5 feet right behind one of our flood walls that we designed, just like the ones here in Memphis, and it held fabulously. In terms of inspecting, as I said, I have 150 engineers out looking at flood walls, levees, pump stations, and working close with our partners to ensure that these structures are performing as designed. And I have no reports right now, and don't expect any, that those flood wells would not perform as designed.
What's the biggest concern downriver from here towards Vicksburg, towards Natchez and other places?
The largest concern is in terms of the Mississippi Valley Division, I think, is a volume of water that's headed towards Vicksburg and then headed on to New Orleans. And as you see, I hear there is consultation for General Walsh and others about execution of the Bonnie Carey Spillway and the Morganza Spillway in New Orleans. So that's already being discussed as we see the crest of the river come and go through Memphis.